Dobrodošli u epizodu 43 NBA podcasta Trojka iz Ćoška. Ova epizoda je istorijska, opet. Imaćemo stranog gosta, tako da kažem. Deo epizode je odrađen na engleskom jeziku, jer sam razgovarao sa mojim prijateljem iz Češke republike, Madi Dibrom. On je trenutno u Beogradu, jer je pozitivno na koronu, samoizolaciji, pa sam ja pravio malo društvo. Pričali smo o off-sezoni Lakersa i o nekim stvarima koje dva matorca od 37-38 godina mogu da pričaju. Naravno, roditeljski ćošak je tu. Ali eto, da održimo tradiciju, što je u ovoj epizodi jako teško, a to je da vidimo koji su poznati igrači nosili broj 43. Poznatih igrača je nijedan. Možemo da kažemo da je za baš starije sladokute košarke, čak da kažemo da je bitan Jack Sikma, ali za nas mlađe to je definitivno Kendrick Perkins, koji je sad isto uključen u medijima, i prvi muž Kim Kardashian, Chris Humphries. I to je to. Nema više igrača koji su nosili broj 43. Od vesti saznali smo da NBA liga počinje 22. decembra definitivno, znači Savez igrača i liga su proračunali da ako propuste utakmice za vreme katoličkog Božića da će izgubiti 500 miliona do milijardu dolara, i naravno kada to igračima saopštite, onda im baš i nije bilo sve jedno. Naravno, za prva utakmica ugovori će biti manji čak do 18%, što će najviše da utiče na igrače koji imaju najveće ugovore. LeBron izjavio da neće igrati prvog meseca, što naravno nije tačno, ali verujem da će postojati određena doza load managementa, da će da se biraju koje će se utakmice igrati. Rekli smo da će biti 72 utakmice. Takođe objavim da će raspored biti klasterizovan, ne znam kako na srpskom bi to došlo, grupisan, tako da će mnogo manje putovanja će biti, ali to znači da će timovi da igraju mnogo više utakmica između sebe na istoku i sa bližim, sa protivnicima koji su im blizu. Neće biti mnogo putovanja sa jedne strane obale na drugu. Povedena je priča oko toga gde će biti Toronto. Za sada se pominju Louisville, ali predstavnici Toronto su poprilično sigurni da će da oni ostanu u Torontu. Bliži nam se draft, koji je za 4 dana tačno. Posle toga se 2-3 dana kasnije, to je tačno 2 dana kasnije, će moći da se počeće da se potpisuju igrači koji su slobodni, ili koji su ograničeno slobodni. Takođe čeka se da se podigne taj moratorijum za trejdovanje igrača, za razmene igrača, i evo, polako možemo da vidimo da su već neki igrači počeli da, kažem, javno lobiraju za sebe. Naravno, najveći rumor ili trač je da je Russell Westbrook izjavio da nije srećan na Houstonu i da traži zamenu. I sad se tu pominju razne kombinacije gde on može da završi. Uglavnom, zbog reputacije koju Russell Westbrook ima i zbog neefikasnog, ćemo reći, igranja, ne voli ga analitika, što bi se rekao, uglavnom se pominju franšize koje nemaju ništa, koje nemaju superstarove i koje bi imale šta da ponude, a to su Orlando i Charlotte trenutno. Ima zanimljivih još kombinacija, pominje se to i Atlanta, ali nije baš najsigurnije šta Atlanta ima da da u zamenu za Westbrooka, ali vidjet ćemo, obično čim se ti tračevi šire naokolo, obično se to tako ništa od toga ne desi, nego bude neko veliko iznenađenje. Još jedna stvar je da se isto pominje da će Chris Paul napustiti Oklahomu, ali ne verujem, Sam Presti, generalni menadžer Oklahome, neće tako lako trejdovati budi zašta Chris Paula. Mislim da će Chris Paul ostati i početi sezonu, pa će da oni procene situaciju do kraja tog do trade deadline-a, do kraja mogućnosti kada mogu igrači da se menjaju, koji će najvjerojatnije ovde biti negde na pola sezone u martu. Radujemo se takođe početku sezone zato što će fantasy da se igra opet. Naša liga je sad, proredili su se oni koji će ostati i koji su ozbiljni igrači, takođe i u ligu će popuniti još 5-6 ozbiljnih igrača, liga će opet biti velika sa 20 plus timova i tome se baš veoma radujem, ali to o tom potom među vremenu ćemo sesti i razmatrati, imati jednu posebnu epizodu posvećenu fantaziju. A sada, Madi Dibra i ja, a posle toga možete i da poslušate epizodu koju je, tako da nazovemo specijal epizodu, koju je snimio Kosta, a to je o sharpshooteru ili ponaški snajperu Miami Heata Duncanu Robinsonu i njegovoj na neki način životnoj priči i načina na koji je došao do NBA lige. Uživajte.
Okay, so this is the first episode where we will have a guest, which you can see on my screen. His name is Madi Dibra, and he's my brother from Prague. He's actually, when we start speaking, I don't want to be ceremonial, but he's like my older brother, although we are the same age or same generation, let's say like that. He was and is always there when I need a brotherly advice. And yes, sometimes even I, the great Alexander, need advice from someone. And what is most important, he is father of two wonderful children. So we will actually today have a parent corner. Well, Madi will tell us also some stories from his life. But okay, so Madi is here. Madi is expert in from Czech Republic, and because of him, I actually played a little bit more basketball in Czech Republic, especially in Prague. And we are members of the famous SAS squad streetball team, the most feared team in the whole Prague, because we were the only team. Yes. That's actually true. We are not lying, because we were the only team without professional players. The only teams that could beat us had to have at least 2 professional players. And even then we would destroy them, most of them at least. But some other time we will discuss about those wonderful days back, 10 years now back, or even more. But now
it feels a lot more than 10.
Yeah, okay. But now, Madi, since you are, well, a Lakers fan in a way, you're here. We'll discuss about LeBron's title and LeBron's GOAT title. So let's start first with like nice topics. Who do you like from Lakers roster now? I'm not asking about AD or LeBron. It's obvious that everybody likes them in any way, but from other players, who do you think should stay? Who do you think they will need to bring, or whatever?
Well, hi everybody. First, that's a very long introduction, actually, I have to say.
Yeah,
but fair enough. We've been knowing each other for so long that it feels weird to have this kind of talks or conversations recorded. But maybe we're gonna look back and actually find something interesting in a few years or in 10 years' time. To your question, actually, being a Lakers fan, it was inevitable, because when some guy called Michael Jordan decided to step down and step away from proper competitive basketball at the end of the 98 season, it was inevitable that you needed another drive, another point of reference in the world of basketball. And at least for me, that was Kobe Bryant. So Bulls are still there, it's still one of my favorite teams, but for 20 years or more, it was the Lakers that kind of took over with the help of, again, Kobe Bryant. But taking a look at this year's title, it's already their title, and I would say quite deserved. they were disappointing a lot of times. I mean, they did have the best record in the league. They had the best, I would say, player in the league for the moment.
Which one?
And
AD?
the best.
AD? You mean AD?
No, I was about to say the best player in the league and his sidekick, but soon it's going to be inverted. Was probably the roles. I would say a lot of times it's one of those teams that you need to always keep in check because it was made of a lot of veteran players. Look, everybody that played uh, front court, like look at McGee, look at Dwight Howard, look at even Cousins, like was there at some point and didn't make it anywhere to the team. Like it needs a refreshing in my opinion, especially if they want to go to a repeat, to be a repeat contender for the upcoming season. I would like to see there maybe resign KCP. I think he's been quite impressive, at least from my perspective. He's a great shooter, great three-point shooter. He performed well in defense when the whole team's goal was that, especially Game 6, for example. They kind of shut down the entire Miami offense in a very decent way. I've always been a fan of Danny Green, always, since the Spurs days. He's an amazing shooter, or rather say was an amazing shooter.
Yeah, last two finals, let's say 2 finals, he was terrible. But I have one question. Would you think they would beat Clippers if Clippers didn't choke against?
I have to say I've followed these years, even before the lockdown, after the lockdown, within the bubble. I followed everything. It was one of those years that, fortunately, I also had to work from home. I also was in a lockdown and in a bubble for a long time, as we all were. So I had a lot of time, like especially in the evenings or in the nights, to just like follow whatever was happening. And I have to say there were the only 2 teams I actually feared in the path to a 17th ring for the Lakers was but the potential West final clash, which was the Clippers. And it should have been the Clippers, to tell you the truth, but they also flopped at some very drastic point. And the Heat, actually, because it was a very unpredictable team. They were unpredictably going through their opponents as if they were the most experienced team in the East, and they weren't, to tell you the truth. But they worked, their chemistry as a team worked amazing, and the Lakers always throughout the season had troubles defending these kind of nice shooting teams, and the Heat was full of them. And at the same time, the Clippers did well. So I really feared their physicality as well.
Yeah, I think the matchup was more the problem because they had weapons to stop LeBron, and AD would score whatever AD would score, and they would make LeBron sweat, definitely. And
definitely.
Regarding the Heat, I think Dragic took over a lot, and his injury was a problem. They would not beat, in my opinion, they would not beat Lakers, but they would make games much more interesting and closer with Dragic on the court.
But the games weren't uninteresting. They were not close. At least
it was when Lakers decided you're done, they were done. Like
that's the thing.
They could not do anything against that.
That's the truth, so it's about like state of mind, it's about mentality, and it's about setting the goal straight. These guys wanted it more, obviously. That is the Lakers. And frankly, like really, I was in fear of a very, very, very troublesome West final clash. But at least for LeBron's sake and for his good luck, I guess it didn't happen. Maybe it would have turned around the plates of this whole playoff and final. But we would never know. Maybe we'll know next year.
Yeah, but margin for error is small. Even the finals with Denver, they won the second game with the mistake. I would say coach's mistake, but Plumlee didn't switch in defense, so AD had a free shot, and even Jokic even saw what was happening.
Yeah, it's true.
But the problem was that defensively, that five lineup that was on the court from Denver never played together. So they never switched before. So that game slipped. In 2 games, Jokic had much more fouls than I would like. I said I will bitch about the referees. I didn't like the refereeing, especially because after game 2, LeBron complained, I'm not getting fouls. And even Reggie Miller on the broadcast said, I'm LeBron, I want more fouls. Here you go. It was like that. At least it sounded like that. Although I don't believe that Denver would win them in any... I mean, that was also their win against Clippers was also stretch. Before the series, I would give them 11% of the chance to win, but Jokic was really amazing, and Jamal Murray was really amazing.
He was indeed amazing. Actually, both of them were really, really outperforming the rest of the opponents. But at the end of the day, you know, to call like being kicked out of a series, you know, because of one switch. I mean, you're not a 12-year-old who's playing his first basketball match. You know what switching is since you were a little kid, you know, since you first started practicing basketball.
Well,
you cannot tell me you... Yeah, but if it's not one mistake, it's the sum of all the mistakes, you know, that is causing that. As on the other hand, it's the sum of all the properly taken shots or the properly taken layups, you know, and all the points that you hand over, the nicely shot like free throws. It's what you sum up. That's the difference between basketball and other like team sports. That it's not, you cannot lose the match because of one mistake, or you cannot win the match because of one like last shot. That's the ability of a person to make a decision or make the right call in the right moment. But if it wouldn't be like the whole, I don't know, 99.9% of the match before that, you cannot get to that point. So it would be minimalized.
It's a good thing that you said. Did you watch movie Any Given Sunday?
Yeah, of course. So
you know the famous
inches. Yeah,
inches.
Al Pacino, of course. It's like the sum of all those inches. You know, that's what you play for.
No, it's interesting. First time I heard that speech was actually Kobe Bryant made like a remix with his own. Al Pacino's words are in the background, but the movement and everything was from Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant's voice as well. So that's the first time I heard about that, and I was like mesmerized. Whoa!
Yeah,
but
I mean,
actually, that's the truth.
It's a great speech, you know, but it's a great coach's speech, but it's the truth, you know, like that's the magic, that's the beauty about it. You fight throughout in the NBA at least 48 minutes, and whether it goes to that last like shot, you know, like it can be anybody. It can be like a GOAT or the GOAT, or it can be, I don't know, a Robert Horry, a Derek Fisher, a Steve Kerr, you know, it can be anybody.
Don't mention Robert Horry. I hate that 3-pointer against Sacramento still. Man, I was awake for those Sacramento
games. Who wasn't? Who wasn't?
I hate, that's the I didn't hate Kobe Bryant. I actually liked him, but I hated Shaq so much because of that, you know. And the decision of Divac to throw the ball was like 100% pure. That's the decision. Shaq would take it either it was foul or he would dunk it. So right into it. He just moved slightly to left. I remember it was not. Man, I hate that shot. God damn it!
But it's relative, right? You know, like you hate it, but the other guys on the other side.
Of course, no. Come on. Yes, of course, no. Even people now, when the people were, especially during this pandemic, but back when everything was stopped, and people were doing. Like some revisit of some greatest teams they didn't win or some games, and they always mention Sacramento in that game, and I didn't even notice. For example, in that game, I I remember one thing, but in that game, I think Lakers had like something like 50 free throws, and Sacramento had only 20. But I never watched that series between Lakers and Sacramento like referees stole something for Sacramento. They simply choked at the last game, I remember, because it was like game 7. Vlade Divac was fouled out, and Chris Webber simply bricked everything. Every shot he took, and they lost by 10 in overtime. I was really disappointed in him. And after that, he was never really that type of player. But what I remember in that match, where Robert Horry scored a free-pointer, in the halftime, Samaki Walker scored half last second three-pointer, but the time was out. But back then there was no like this VAR or basketball VAR, let's call it like that. The video referees and
refereeing.
It looked pure. And in the beginning of the second half, they just showed the ball is still in his hands, and back in the back. The clock on the board. So on the opposite side, you would see zeros over there. And I was like, man, 3-pointers. But that is what you talked about, like some of all things that happened during the game.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, it's true. I don't know, like who do I want to see in the Lakers? Or I mean, I think they definitely deserve a younger, more energetic, more promising point guard. Even though LeBron is doing it all himself.
You mean Chris Paul?
I think he has more than 80 million in the next couple of years of contract. It's extreme.
Yeah. 40 something and 40 something plus 2.
It's extreme, and it's extreme. But I would say Fred VanVleet, like he's an unrestricted free agent. He's young. He has both playoff and championship experience. He's been doing quite well next to Kyle Lowry as well. He's not going to be the star in the team, right?
No, of course, but no one expects that from Fred VanVleet. Point is that if LeBron wants Fred VanVleet in his team, they would need to. Someone has to go, either KCP or Danny Green, because that money plus the money they have in cap space, they would have to sign and trade one of those guys to have space to sign. Because VanVleet will take 15 to 20 million for sure. He will get those offers.
He has 9 at the moment, I think. Yeah. I mean, he was getting at least 9, and frankly, he's going to get more. But I would be fine like sacrificing somebody like Danny Green, because I mean, I saw it even from this playoff run. He's not motivated. I mean, it's not that he was always like cold-blooded, when you saw him. The way he played, the way he acted, always like have a straight face, always like a poker face. You cannot tell what he's going through. And because I follow him on social media as well, he seems more preoccupied about like Black Lives Matters and voting, rather than basketball. So, I mean, he's a human being. He should be doing whatever he feels like doing, but he doesn't have that hunger and the drive for another title run. I don't see that in him. That's what I say. Like, I'd rather focus on KCP, maybe resign him. I think he has a player options probably, so he can choose whether to stay for another year.
KCP, Rondo, and one other guard, Avery Bradley. They have options. Avery Bradley, I think, picked up his option, so he's staying. Rondo, Rondo has veteran minimum, so he didn't pick up his option because maybe. I mean,
he gets a better offer.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. He'll probably get. At this point, he's not even playing for the money. He will decide if the question is he going to go to Clippers or not, or maybe even Philadelphia.
I mean, they can let him go. If you ask me, they can totally let him go. I mean, he had a great run. He helped them in the finals, definitely. Prior to the finals, he did little or nothing. I mean, prior to the finals. I'm fine seeing him go. Having Avery Bradley as the maybe starter point guard if you don't get anybody else. I don't know. Like I want to shoot it up there and say like Bogdanovic maybe.
I think they tried it. They tried to trade Kuzma for him, but Sacramento said no. I mean, you have to give us something, and they don't have any picks because they gave everything to New Orleans.
Well, again, going to Kuzma, what I saw him doing, I would be happy to let him go too, man. I was sad when they saw. I would have been happier seeing, for example, Kuzma go and they kept Brandon Ingram like the year before.
Yeah, but now Ingram is Ingram is restricted. Sorry, so they would have a tough time keeping him. But with Kuzma, I was one game I think second game in finals. He messed up something in defense, and LeBron gave him a look like.
No, I think he got more looks.
No, but this situation was he then had a turnover, then he messed up in defense again, and Vogel didn't change him yet. He was preparing the substitution, and then he scored corner three. But it was a lifeline for him. If he missed that corner three, he would never play till the end of the finals. LeBron was like, true, dude, you're free to go. Go sit and wave with the towel.
It is true, actually. It is very much true. But again, like at some point, people take a break between the playoff run or a championship run and the start of the season, and maybe they come back refreshed, maybe come back motivated, so you never know. But I think they need some reshuffling. I don't suggest, or I cannot see the Lakers put this kind of energy and this kind of effort and have the same kind of success next year. You could see AD does everything. He scores, he rebounds, he blocks, so he's like a gem, both offensively and defensively. And LeBron does everything. But imagine one of two of them, not being able to play all the games or the entire game.
Even this, like, they were playing with size, let's say like that, throughout these playoffs. But I think with Golden State back, they cannot. Like, Golden State would easily win against that system of game, because they're way too fast, and AD and LeBron cannot pick everybody in that.
True, and they are great shooters. Like, it's you could see it at some point. They could not defend. They really could not defend. Mm-hmm. They had a hard time defending Hero and Hero, whatever you spell his name, superhero, guitar hero.
Yeah, it's pronounced Hero, but at least broadcasters in USA.
Americanized Hero. Hero. And Duncan Robinson, he was scoring a lot from far. Even Jimmy was like, I mean, he was not the regular Jimmy, like not as we've known him through the years, like, I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I know you like him. Yeah. I always liked him, especially in the beginning when he was for the Bulls. He was playing. He was a reference. He was the reference player in there. But you cannot see. I would never picture him to be like a guy that would lead a team to the finals or to even to a title. But maybe it's gonna change.
No, maybe it's gonna change. He was leading them well in those matches. He's drawing a lot of fouls, and watch him when he goes in the drive. He's picking he's flailing his elbows. Yeah. I don't think that's like very nice towards defenders. Kuzma felt that especially. He counted his ribs a couple of times. I don't know.
He goes for that contact, but he's not afraid. He doesn't walk back from that, which is good. I mean, he is a really good player. Like a player that puts that kind of energy into the game or into any play that he does, amazing. But you saw he has somebody else, and as more people noticed, like his body gave away after such a amazing performance on game five. You could see he could hardly walk after that. I mean, it would happen to anybody, but not somebody that needs to perform in 2-3 days again at the same level and be expected to play the same way, and he didn't, obviously. But again, we're not talking about the Heat or anything. We're talking about these guys. So at least the Lakers.
This season for Heat was auditioning for Giannis or some other superstar that they will add to this team. They're not trading anyone. No, that's like, for me, that's obvious.
It's funny. It's funny because you mentioned Giannis, and Giannis makes the name twice in my lists. One is in the wishful thinking kind of list that wants to see him do better in the playoff run, because the regular season he's proving it like for the second time in a row that he's undisputed. But in the playoff run, he needs to do better, and that's one of my wishes. And the second is, like you mentioned, kids and children, me being or us being parents, and the parents' corner. And it's his T-shirt. It's one of the two T-shirts that I've actually got my son to wear, and he takes them to school. He takes them outside, like, and one of them is Giannis's, and the other guy is. I'll tell you after about the other guy.
The other guy. Yeah. So, okay, so nice transition to parents' corner. So my newly born son, who is now 4 months old, got his first 2 teeth once this number, and it's funny, and he's like nagging all the time because the teething is happening, and he smiles a lot, which is very strange because for me, I don't know, parenthood is very different and very strange, but in a positive way, of course. For this it's new. Yeah, definitely it's new. Oh, I became expert in changing diapers. That's my contribution to parents' corner for this. I'm better than mother. So she does more, but like I'm fairly quick and he's not crying when I'm doing it. So I know how to entertain him. I know how to entertain him, I guess.
You know your spot in the family and your role.
Yes. I'm not useless, which I expected I would be, but I'm not.
That's good. It's good stuff, man. Congrats on the first teeth.
Yeah.
And for many more to come out.
Yeah, many more to come. Oh man, he's becoming heavy. Like he's really. I mean, okay, both my wife and myself are not tall, not the tallest people, but we're not short. So I don't know why I expected that he will not be tall. So he's already like, he's wearing stuff for like children that are 6 to 9. He has 7 kilos, which is like expected to have like with 8 months or some short.
That's how it starts. That's how it all starts. Don't worry.
Okay.
He's only gonna get bigger.
Yeah, bitch. Put down your okay. Mom is big. He will not. But let's say on Vesna. On Vesna is really short, like 150, and he will put down Vesna. Okay, Madi. For this episode, we are going slowly to be done. But next time, as I promised you, prepare yourself. We are having a goat conversation.
Oh,
yes. So pick your battle closely, but we'll probably agree who the GOAT is. For now, I'll try to be unbiased, but that's like promise only that I will try. I don't want to say I will be.
I mean, it's a great topic. We can be speaking for hours or even for days, if so. But it's at the end of the day, it's like how relevant it is, Like,
when you talk basketball, it's always relevant. Come on.
Well, any sport has its GOAT or its goats, Like it's. I would be more interested to talk about a shepherd that is going to look after all these goats rather than.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, goat sounds fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Madi, take care and see you all, guys. So. See you all in next episode. We are going to record this from a couple of series, so maybe you will watch this some other day. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. But I have to say, we have 41 followers on YouTube, which is more than we have. We have more on Instagram, but followers on Instagram are much easier to get. So I'm very proud about 40 followers on YouTube. I have to say.
We're gonna make it more.
Yeah, of course. We are getting a site. I started the project, so I am making that happen as soon as I have time, which is a relevant thing. Okay,
so guys, like, share, and invite everybody to
subscribe. It's over there. Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.